You ever wake up to find out your life's been rewritten and you're the last one to know? Because that's exactly what happened to me. Not in some far-off big city courthouse, but right here on the dirt road I've called home since I could walk. Picture this sun barely up the dew still hanging on barbed wire. And there it is, a bright orange notice crooked as a dog's back leg stapled right to my gate like some kind of prize. And what did it say? That the Pine Ridge Estates HOA now claim my land. All 180 acres. Like they'd bought it overnight with monopoly money and had the gall to call the sheriff on me for threatening them when I got angry. That's how it started. But by the end, we found out just how deep folks will dig to take what isn't theirs and what happens when you finally dig back. I remember standing there, the morning chill biting, holding that notice official as a parking ticket stamped with the smug seal of Pine Ridge Estates Community Standards. It read with the confidence of a dictator that my ranch was now under their expanded jurisdiction. Said I had to comply with their rules or risk legal action and property reassignment. They might as well have said, "Get off your own land." Now, my first feeling wasn't fear. It was a kind of slow-burning anger, the sort that crawls up under your ribs and just stays. I yanked the notice down thinking, what idiot dreams this stuff up? Because I sure as hell hadn't signed anything, and this ranch was recorded as independent land decades before Pine Ridge even broke ground. But then came the crunch of tires on my gravel drive, a white SUV spotless and out of place, and out stepped Mara Kensington, HOA president, in a power suit and sunglasses like she was about to sell me on a timeshare. "Good morning, Mr. Reeves," she said, smiling like she'd already won. "I assume you've seen the notice?" I told her I've seen garbage blow onto my property too. Doesn't mean it belongs here. She didn't even blink, just held up her tablet, reciting legalese about preserving neighborhood value and environmental continuity, about regulating my livestock, my water, my fences. Then before I could fire back, a county cruiser pulled up. Out stepped Sheriff Wade Turner, a decent man, tired, the kind who's seen too many feuds. He nodded at me, then turned to Mara. "Got a call about threats toward HOA personnel." I looked at Mara, almost laughing. "You called the sheriff because I raised my voice. My volunteers felt unsafe," she said, voice icy. "You walked onto my land uninvited," I shot back. Sheriff Turner just held up his hands. "Let's all keep this civil." Mara handed over her tablet with a map so doctored the lines bent like a drunk story, her jurisdiction swallowing a chunk of my ranch. Turner frowned. "Marla, this doesn't match county records." She insisted it did on their end. Turner gave me a look, "Don't do anything stupid." But it was already too late for civil. These people were carving up my home with nothing but paperwork and nerve. Turner promised to check with the county registrar and told us to cool it. Mara left in a cloud of perfume and self-importance, but Turner lingered. "You okay?" he asked. I told him the truth. "Not now, but I will be." Now here's the thing. If an HOA can just slap their seal on a sheet of paper and take land nobody sold them, what else could they do? I didn't intend to wait around and find out. That afternoon, I drove to see Lena Ortiz, the sharpest real estate attorney in 3 counties. Laid that orange notice on her desk like evidence in a murder trial. She barely blinked before she found the flaw. "Colton, this parcel number doesn't exist." Mara had filed fake paperwork. Lena pulled up the county system, typed in the coordinates. Nothing. "She's manufacturing jurisdiction," Lena said. "She'll keep forging as long as nobody stops her." Before we could go deeper, Lena's assistant came in with a call. Mara had just submitted a revised boundary to the clerk's office, 40 acres of my ranch now inside the HOA. Not trying, as Lena put it, Mara was setting the stage to claim it was always hers. Before we could figure our next move, Deputy Carl Bowen showed up holding 3 fresh survey stakes just found on my north fence line. 10 feet inside my property. Officially, Bowen said we can't act until the county decides. But unofficially, someone's staking claims before the ink's dry. Lena picked up one of the stakes, Pine Ridge's landscaping color code. They were building a paper trail to back up their lies. It hit me this wasn't an accident or even a shakedown. This was a coordinated land grab. All for water grazing, maybe an easement, maybe just greed. And someone inside the county was helping her. "Fake maps, fake numbers, false jurisdiction," Lena said, "but knots can be untied." I'd never been more determined to pull every damn thread. The next twist hit fast. 2 days later, my cattle were bunched up and panicked. The creek had run dry, never happened in February, not in 20 years. Upstream, I found orange construction fencing and 3 HOA contractors hammering posts into the soil. Environmental preservation boundary, HOA directive, they told me. I let them have it. This is Reeves Creek. It's got nothing to do with your HOA. Mara herself appeared smug as a cat and called it a protected zone. Said I was trespassing. She wasn't after the creek, she wanted to starve my cattle, force me into a violation, then claim the whole ranch was unfit. She called the sheriff again, said I was violating a preservation order. Turner showed up tired and wary, and as much as it killed him, he had to issue a temporary access restriction until the court rules. I watched as he staked the line fencing off the water my family and my animals relied on. As they drove away, Bowen pulled me aside. If they're messing with your water, they're not done. Watch your perimeter. That night I sat on my porch looking through my late wife's old survey binder, her handwriting her careful notes about every spring and fence post. There circled in her steady hand was the original north boundary stake, permanent. Do not move. The new maps pretended it never existed. I compared every page, her truth against Mara's lies. It wasn't sloppy work, it was precise, meant to overwrite history itself. That's when Lena showed up again bringing digital files. Someone had logged in at 2:14 a.m. and deleted my grandfather's deed from the county records, then swapped in a dummy index. Only county employees could do that. It's not just about land, Lena said. Someone's abusing the public system. Her plan: gather every scrap of evidence, find the original county plat, and expose the fraud. As if on cue, Nate, my neighbor, showed up. He'd been served too. Same bogus notice, same fabricated parcels, same threat to move his barn. They're coming for all of us, he said. Lena's advice: document everything. Wait, let them make a bigger mistake. I hated it, but she was right. And then Ethan Crow, county surveyor, turned up. He'd been tracking altered files, pulled a photocopy from the original 1978 plat book my ranch and others purposely excluded from Pine Ridge. To fight her, we need the original signed and stamped. It was in the courthouse basement, locked away. The next night, Lena and I snuck into that basement with Ethan. Old records, old metal cabinets, the smell of dust and secrets. Ethan showed us the original plat, clean boundaries, no encroachment. Then the updated version's lines, warped history, rewritten. Only 3 people had the keys: Ethan, the county clerk, and the deputy clerk who'd been meeting with Mara. While Lena snapped photos, we heard footsteps. Deputy Clerk Rylan, Mara's inside man, came in, flashlight sweeping. Ethan knocked over some boxes as a distraction, and we slipped out the side door, hearts pounding. We had the proof, but not enough yet. The real showdown had to happen in the open. The night of the annual HOA meeting, the hall was packed, more than 200 people, many holding their own evidence. Mara tried to shut me down, but folks weren't having it. When Lena and Ethan showed the original and forged maps side by side, the place erupted. Residents saw the signatures, the altered stamps, the trail cams showing Mara's crew trespassing at 2 a.m. Mara shrieked for the sheriff to arrest us. Turner just shook his head. Not tonight. By the end, the community voted her out. The sheriff announced an investigation, and Mara was left alone, stripped of her power. Turner let her out now, just another suspect, not a queen. The next morning, the courthouse was packed again. Ranchers, homeowners, county staff. Judge McBride saw straight through the lies. Lena presented the evidence. Ethan confirmed the fraud. Even the deletion logs matched Mara's after-hours logins. Judge dismissed every claim against my ranch, restored our water, placed a restraining order on Mara, and called for a full forensic audit of the HOA. Mara tried to shout about people behind this, but this time nobody listened. Afterward, folks filed out to the creek. The plastic fencing came down one stake after another, the land exhaling at last. Neighbors gathered, forming a new voluntary association. No more bullies, just community. Lena was asked to draft the charter. The sheriff told me Mara made bail, but state-level charges were coming. The fight wasn't just for me, it was for everyone who'd ever been threatened by power misused. As the cleanup wrapped up, a neighbor called out, "Colton, mind if our kids play here again?" I smiled. It's water's meant to be shared. Just stay off the fencing lines. Standing under the old cottonwoods, Lena by my side, I finally felt the land was safe. Funny thing about land, I told her. You can warp a map, you can forge a deed, but you can't change where a tree grows. She nodded. For the first time in weeks, it felt like closure, real honest, hard won. The lesson: justice doesn't always come with fanfare. Sometimes it's just stubbornness, paperwork, and truth holding on long enough for the right people to see it. This fight, it wasn't just about lines on a map. It was about saying no. It was about not letting yourself be erased. So let me ask you this. If you were in my boots, how far would you go to defend what's yours? When does standing your ground become the only thing that matters? And when does justice finally feel real? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me your own stories, right and wrong, power and payback. Because out here, justice still matters, and sometimes karma really does come calling. And if you're the kind that values grit, dignity, and truth, stick around. There's plenty more stories coming down this old dirt road.